I guess we will get started. My name is Omar Gonzalez, and this is my colleague, Melinda. We try to make this as interactive as we can. So if you have questions and comments, let me know. I'll try to end a little bit early. We have a lot of educational material, we'll call it. Up here, we have some synthetic drugs, we have some stash cans, some pipes, some paraphernalia. So I'll end early so you can come up here. We won't pass anything out. It'll just be no samples. I always get the question, can we try some of this stuff? No, I will get in trouble. So we are part of an organization called Reach Out, based in Upland. We do work along the West End, some in Riverside, some in Pomona, some in Coachella. My main job and Melinda's main job is just reducing underage drinking, substance abuse, and violence in the community. We do this through different methods, policy, advocacy. We work in schools, we work with educators, law enforcement. The cool part of our job is we do stuff like this. Not only presentations, but we do a lot of assessments with parents and with youth. We go to smoke shops, we go to liquor stores. Right now we're contracted with Chino Police Department in Fontana. We provide them youth, and the youth go in there to try to get drugs. They don't keep them. We have undercover officers there, and just to see what is really out there. Why us? We do this presentation on probably once a week. I've done it in Washington, D.C., Boise, Texas, Arizona, you name it, we've done it. And it is one of the perks of the job that we really enjoy, because it is just raising awareness. What we hope you get out of this is synthetic drugs, alcohol trends, side effects, where they're being purchased, current trends, and what's being done to stop them. So this is my favorite slide. This is what always happens. We're going to show you this, we're going to talk about this, and people get afraid. At the end of the presentation, parents always come talk to me, and they're like, I'm going to lock up my kid, take him out of school, I'm going to take down the doors, what can we do? Always come back to this kid, right? We want you to enjoy it, but we also want you to understand what is going on. Sadly, all this stuff is very easy for us to get. I've gone and done assessments in a suit and tie, and I've actually been offered to sell this stuff to you guys' car. Right, so always come back to this baby, right? You'll be scared, but you'll be fine.
All right, so we'll get started. First things first, alcohol. We've known alcohol to be around for years and years now, and we've always known alcohol to be consumed from the mouth and in a liquid form. So there's actually a lot of new trends happening right now where it's not necessarily in a liquid form, and it's not necessarily consumed by the mouth as well. So we'll get more into that. So vaping alcohol. Has anyone heard of vaping alcohol at all? It's a really big trend that's happening right now. I'm going to be showing you a video that we have found on YouTube, and his name is Ellie Beast, and it's a trend that's been happening for a couple of years now. And so he's actually going to be extracting ethanol from a 2-liter soda bottle, any form of liquid of his choice, a cork, and a bicycle pump. So watch the
And there's cussing, so we apologize.
Yes.
Oh, hey, how's it going? Ellie Beast here. You know what? I've been trying to lose weight. I've been trying to keep the calorie intake low, but at the same time, I want to go out on the weekends and get shithoused. I'm going to show you how to get drunk without even taking a sip of alcohol, and all you need is an empty plastic bottle, bicycle pump, and a cork. I'm about to smoke the shit out of this boy, bro. About a little bit of that.
Okay, so keep in mind this video has been trimmed down. This video is about 15 minutes long, and he does do a few more drinks after this, and it's actually very dangerous of how he's doing this. And so as he's actually inhaling the toxic fumes, it's actually a quicker way for someone to actually have alcohol poisoning. due to the fact that it's actually bypassing the stomach, the liver, and the kidneys, and it's going straight to the bloodstream. So these are high chances of someone having alcohol poisoning and being hospitalized. And so what you saw was cloud in the bottle, a 2-liter bottle, pump, and the cork.
So something as simple as this. We made this one just from going to the dollar store. Bicycle pump, simple cork, and they pump it in. So when we started doing prevention work, one of the first things that was so apparent was, if this is vodka, right, you make a line. So if I'm out of the state, if I'm going out, I know, and if I come back, my line of sharpies here, liquids are here, I know they drank it.
Unless
So
they
now,
have water today.
well, no, this is just water, it's not alcohol. I don't want to, no, what was your question?
If they drink, the lines down here, you know they had it, but then if they add water to it, they can.
Yeah, but then if you smell it, it's still going to smell like vodka, it's still going to have the taste. But what they do is when they pump it, they just extract the alcohol content, so they're puffing it and the liquid still stays the same.
And so, as you can tell, he was using malt liquor, champagne, and what you didn't see, he also had a mixed drink, so any of these can be used. We have something called freebasing. This is very similar to the cloud in the bottle, but this is just more of actually adding dry ice poured over to your choice of drink. So this is actually very popular. You've seen this in Vegas, big club areas, and so it's actually anything that's happening right now. Other ways to drink alcohol. Slimming. Has anyone ever heard of slimming? Slimming? Yes, I'm pretty sure you've seen it in the news. Slimming is actually where you grab a hydrogen product like a tampon and you actually soak it in vodka. And for females, they actually soak it and insert it vaginally. So this is something that a lot of females do. You'll be surprised, men do it as well too, through the rectum. And so this is, you know, a higher chance of alcohol poisoning. So it is very interesting. And fun fact, an tampon can actually hold up to about 2 ounces, which is a shot of vodka. Butt chugging. So butt chugging is exactly what it sounds like. There's other forms of doing butt chugging. This is one that I like to talk about just because it is in a rubber container. You can probably hold about 12 ounces in here, but since it's rubber, it does expand. It can possibly hold more. So, I mean, does it need further explanation or? Snorting alcohol. This one always kind of surprises me. Just it seems like it would hurt a lot, and so it is very dangerous. And there's also another trend that's out there where kids and people actually like to take shots from their eyes. So you get a shot bottle and straight to the eye. It's very, very. The eye? Yes.
There's more nerves in the eye and there's more sensitivity, so you get a quicker buzz. So all these methods are just ways to get drunk quicker.
And then just going back to the slimming part and the butt chugging, especially for a lot of you that work with youth, these are, I guess, ways for them to kind of hide drinking or going to class intoxicated in the form. So, tampons, you don't see them drinking tampons. They, insert it in from a different way, as well as vaping alcohol. When people vape alcohol, they think that it's not going to have that smell or residue in their mouth, but actually, you can still actually taste it. As well as when, someone will be like, oh, I'll take alcohol, it's not going to show up in a breathalyzer. It will, because it goes straight to your bloodstream. Okay, so already in stores. We have adult chocolate milk and adult whipped cream. This is great for us adults that, want to have a long day after work, but if you live with kids, have kids at home, it's not so great just to the fact that, kids may displace this with regular chocolate milk that they have as well, and whipped cream. We actually have a colleague of mine, Will, he actually did this presentation to another group of educators as well. And when he was talking about the alcohol-infused whipped cream, one of the educators was actually saying how one of their students always carried around a whipped cream bottle, and they were always using it in class, and they never really thought to, think what they were, oh wow, my kid just really loves whipped cream. So you never really know what these items right here can hide, and so these are something to be aware of. They are in stores, and it is easy for kids to get their hands on. Other alcohol-infused products, we have marshmallows here, popcorn. Other alcohol-infused ice creams, we have hard liquor, mixed drinks, beer-flavored ice cream, which is alcohol-infused, and wine. So kids love ice cream, especially during the hot days. So if anyone sees these, having these at their household, it is very dangerous. Possibly even chance of kids having these at home, bringing them to school. Alcohol. Has anyone heard of alcohol? No, this is actually one of the newer things. Alcohol actually stands for powdered alcohol. As you can see, it's a big.
It's a brand new product that's out on the market.
Yes, there you go.
It's alcohol in powder form. I believe we have to.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to be showing you a video of how it is formed. It's pretty much an alcohol. All you have to do is add water, and you have your mixed drink, kind of like Kool-Aid or Tang.
Is the bag that alcohol will come in. It's not the exact bag, but a mock-up. It's the right size, 4 inches by 6 inches with a 2-inch gusset. And this is how much alcohol comes in a package. One package of alcohol. This happens to be powdered vodka. And this is a shot of vodka. These are equal amounts of alcohol. I'm going to grab this over here because in this bag right now, I have the cosmopolitan version of alcohol. So, I'll show you how it works. All I do is pour about 5 ounces of water in there. Check. Then you zip the bag closed tightly, and then shake. And it takes about 30 seconds for the powder to dissolve. The colder the water is, the longer it takes to dissolve.
So this is FDA approved. Some of the states have already banned it. California is currently, I believe the Assemblyman House is already brought up of banning it in the state of California. Massachusetts, DC, I think already banned it. Obviously, it's small enough, it looks like a Capri Sun, so anyone can just carry around with it, and no one's going to be the wiser. In this video, I always thought of it. He says, so when you're out hiking, when you're out with friends, because the first thing you want to do is mix some water and have a nice drink. And he says in the video that kids aren't going to do this, because as we've already proved, kids won't try anything.
All right, so moving on to synthetic drugs. Has anyone heard of synthetic drugs or know many names? On the top of your head, do you know any names of synthetic drugs? Spice, okay.
Bath salts?
Bath salts, yes. So what are synthetic drugs? Synthetic drugs are just chemicals that mimic the effect of marijuana, cocaine, and methamphetamine. So what do they look like? There's different forms of them. So they actually have shiny packaging, usually silver with a transparent layer. Usually you can see what's inside. It comes in powder forms and even looks like marijuana. And so these are actually can be found in your local convenience stores, gas stations, smoke shops, and a lot of the times they're labeled as incense or not for human consumption. So what happens chemically? So everyone is born differently. Everyone's born differently biologically and chemically, and so when it comes to taking these drugs, everyone's always different of how they're going to react to it. So think about it as having a brand new cell phone, an iPhone. People drop their phones all the time, and so there can be someone that can drop their phone for multiple times and nothing will happen to it, no shatter. But there can also be some people where they'll drop their phone one time and it ruins a whole phone. So kind of think of it like that, how certain chemicals don't fit certain receptors in your body. So these are actually some side effects of synthetic drugs. So we have paranoia, aggression, hallucination, nausea, panicking, scrambled communication, vomiting, coma, overwhelming feelings, anxiety, teeth grinding, and there's also the possibility of death. And then there is synthetic marijuana. So think of synthetic marijuana as finding grass, spices, and herbs, and just spraying it with a bunch of chemicals that are similar to THC. So these can also be found in liquid forms for vaping. So I'm actually going to be showing you a video of a young lady named Emily Bauer who was actually tried synthetic marijuana for the first time with her friends. And although her friends, might have had a great time with it, Emily Bauer actually experienced a lot of the side effects of the synthetic drugs and
I'm not sure if you've ever been to a gas station or a head shop and seen the synthetic weed stuff that they call K2 or spice or whatever. It's basically incense or potpourri that's being sold as a legal alternative to weed, and it's supposed to give you a similar high. But unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. Emily Bauer, a 17-year-old girl from Cypress, Texas, smoked some of this stuff back in December with some friends. What came next was a series of strokes causing her to fall into a psychotic state. Emily hallucinated, running into walls. She became violent. 24 hours later, she was still behaving the same way. So doctors had to put Emily into an induced coma in order to run tests on her brain. They discovered the strokes had not only caused blindness, but also caused severe vasculitis where blood vessels contract dramatically, reducing the flow of blood and oxygen to the brain. Something like 70% of her brain had died. She would no longer be able to use her arms and legs or even recognize her family at all, so they took her breathing tube out and stopped all nourishment. But one morning, her mother came in and said, "Good morning, and I love you" to Emily, and amazingly, Emily answered back, "I love you too." Miraculously, she's still showing signs of recovery. She can eat solid foods again. She's even moving her arms and legs. Her parents have set up a nonprofit called Synthetic Awareness for Emily. You can visit the Facebook page. If you have any experiences or feelings at all about all of this, please share them with us in the comments below. Most importantly, we hope Emily continues to make an amazing recovery. When this happened to Ronnie, a Boston marketer.
Okay, so as you can see, she experienced more than one of these side effects. And so if you actually go onto that Facebook page of Emily Bauer's Synthetic Drug Awareness for Emily, there's actually updates of what's going on with her. And so unfortunately, she might not possibly recover back to how she was before, but thankfully she is recovering. That's all. So we all know everyone to have these bath salts in the restroom, something to relax after a hard day of work. And these are actually the bath salts that you can buy at your local convenience store or at the smoke shop. And so usually go for $20. Bath salts, it pretty much mimics the effects of ecstasy, crack, cocaine, and meth. They can be in pill form, e-liquids for meth, and powder form. Flop is also known to be just another version of bath salts, just cheaper and stronger. I'll actually, this video that I'm about to show you is actually a man that's actually on bath salts, and he actually called
the police on himself.
Yes.
Because of what he was experiencing.
And then so when you watch this video, you're going to see all the different side effects that he's going to be going through. So it might surprise you.
What's up? Can you tell me what your name is? Really? Wow. Do we know what our name is?
This part of the video, you can actually see how he starts to get a little bit of anxiety. You can see his chest beating really hard. He's starting to panic, and then next thing you know,
So that's the key with all synthetic drugs, synthetic marijuana, K2, bath, the chemicals, right? They put chemicals on it, people take it, they don't know how their body's going to react. Super Bowl, one of the Patriots linebackers, I think, went to the hospital. They took synthetic marijuana, ended up in the hospital, went to the cops because he was freaking out. So it's just a fact, right? Me and Melinda smoke the same thing. I'm allergic to Tylenol. I could end up dead or in a coma. Melinda may just want to run up and down the aisle. So it's just different chemicals and they affect people differently. And because there's no consistency in the batch. This is the Scooby snack, right? Right, so we've seen it. I've seen this packaging in Yucca, in Arizona, in San Diego, and here in Ontario. All of them made by different companies, all of them have different chemicals on it. So if I'm smoking in San Diego, and I was like, oh, I had such a great time, you know, I swam all the way to TJ, came back, had a good time. If I want to do it here in Ontario, I may end up dead. So there's no consistency. The gray area for law enforcement and for school officials is that they're being sold as incense and potpourri. So what the people are doing is, I'm giving it to this young lady, whatever she does with that in her house is her business. I'm incense and potpourri. So that's the gray area. There is a countywide ban on synthetic drugs. Some cities have a higher ban where they get rid of everything. Some of them have possession, some of them have distribution. So in the county of San Bernardino, it is illegal to sell this stuff. Any questions on synthetics? We have some up here, which we will show at the end when we pass it out. What I always get from parents or from people when we have them is, it looks like oregano, it looks like the stuff we put on menudo, that type of stuff. And it's just chemicals, lots of weeds, lots of grass, lots of clippings. Molly. Molly's a big thing. There was a rave out here at Fairplex in LA a couple months ago. There was 2 people that passed away. So what they did at the first 10 minutes when they got there, they had trash bins outside, and they said, 2 people, if you come in, you have any ecstasy, any Molly, any synthetic drugs, throw them out, and you won't be reprimanded. Within 10 minutes, they had 4-gallon bags filled up. So Molly was a big thing. It's not like, it just mimics the effects of ecstasy, and it's cheaper. Kratom is another thing that we're finding. We have some up here. It is a pill, it comes in liquid form, and it comes in grass. So you smoke it, it's legal to purchase, like salvia. Who's heard of salvia? Right? My favorite story is, a couple years ago, when Miley Cyrus was still Hannah Montana, there was a video that came out of her smoking salvia. Right? After that, her career just went down. That was the end of poor Miley Cyrus and Hannah Montana, was when she smoked the salvia. Salvia you can get at smoke shops, you can currently get them everywhere. We have a video, so I'll show you later. Vaping. Who's ever been to a vape shop? Who's been to a smoke shop? Even I can't give you homework. Go to a smoke shop, go to a vape shop. Reason why we tell people to go to a smoke shop is the perception that people have, right? I used to think a smoke shop, real dark, just a lot of tobacco, Cuban cigars, clothes, that type of stuff. When I actually went in there, I was like, wow, they have snacks, they have a vending machine, they have Monster Energy drinks. Some place actually offers free brownies, right? So go to smoke shops. The vape shops people think are kind of weird, but if you actually go into one of them, it gives you a different perception. They allow you to smoke. So with the smoke shops, we always go for tobacco use only, right? That is what smoke shops are supposed to be, tobacco use. But because of the way that what they sell and the way they're being zoned, a lot of them are zoned as convenience shops. In Upland, there's a smoke shop right across the high school. They sell Monster Energy drinks, chips, sodas, anything you can find. So after high school, after class, a lot of kids go right across the street and pick up the stuff. So once they're in there, what else can they see? Everything you want to see. When Melinda was talking about alcohol, so what we found at the smoke shop are everything from fake urine that you can buy. We bought ours for $12. We sent it out to the lab to get tested. Came back flying colors. Said, hey, it's clean. I said, did you guys test to see if it was fake? They said, oh, we don't do that. Right? And in the packaging, it shows you how to do it. It gives you the time frame of when to do it. And it tells you if you get caught, what to say so it's good. You put the little pouch, you put it in the microwave, warms it up perfect to your temperature, and it keeps it for that temperature for an hour and a half. Tape it to your thigh, and you go get tested, and you come back with flying colors. 12 bucks. Other stuff that we found is stuff that you can hide. So, tampons, right? I'm a guy, so already I'm like, oh, I don't want to touch this. Right? So they look like regular, they come in regular packaging, and inside I can hide alcohol. Right? When we first started showing this presentation to law enforcement, all of the law enforcement were like, oh yeah, they're tampons. And then once we told them to open it, they're like, oh, okay, they're not tampons. We see these all the time. The tie, we bought at another smoke shop, we can hide 12 ounces, I believe. Our colleague Will actually did the presentation with his tie on the whole time. And my boss was so proud of him because my man never wears ties. And she was like, oh, look how nice he looks, until she saw what it actually does. The suntan bottle, right? You put alcohol in it, looks like a regular one. The binoculars, right? The wine rack, which is just for those special occasions. And in the back it actually tells you how much you filled it up, how much more your chest would be large. And then the black purse, right? Everyone needs a nice black purse for when you go out. And then on this one, I have my little pouch so I can fill it up with alcohol. Which is one that my wife was like amazed that we were able to find. And so all this stuff we find either smoke shops or on the internet. Another thing that we found was these cans. So when we first started doing this, we went to smoke shops and we were like, we gotta find these, right? So they're stash cans, you open them up, you can fill stuff in this. We've had a lot of them, they come in WD-40, Pringles cans, waters, the muscle milk, all this stuff comes in it. Around May, we couldn't find any more at the smoke shops. And we're like, why can't we find any of these stash cans? So what were some of the stuff? Grad night. Kids are getting out of school, so they buy all this stuff. And we couldn't find any of them. And then we were like, it has to be for that reason. The Pepsi, right, you open it, you can hide stuff in it.
Where did they keep them on this? Like, they're not in the refrigerators, are they?
No, they do get cold. Like the water one, we put water in there before, we put it in the fridge and it gets cold. They're just out in the displays when you walk into the smoke shops or something. They're just out there. The crucifix, the mouse, the Rubik's Cube, all different types. The e-cigs are now a big thing, right? I've seen pregnant, yes.
Right, is it not illegal to sell this kind of stuff to kids, minors?
How old do you have to be to walk into a smoke shop?
18.
18. How many times do you think they've actually carded anyone that walks into a smoke shop? Never. So they can go in there. They sell it in good conscience of like, well, I'm going to buy to put my jewelry in there in case I go out. But that's just the way they're zoned. I've seen pregnant women smoke e-cigarettes. I've seen kids smoke e-cigarettes. I had a cousin who smokes an e-cigarette, and my aunt said, well, he's trying to stop smoking. I'm like, when did he start smoking? Like, why are we okay with this? This is my personal favorite one. We get Groupons, right? Everyone knows what Groupon is? Yeah. So when you smoke an e-cigarette, what are you smoking? Tobacco, right? Nicotine, it comes in liquid form, right? This one says, dry herb and wax, which we'll get into. What dry herbs do you smoke? What dry herbs can I smoke? Adapt to, wax coils, keywords of marijuana that they use. Sleek, discreet design, and releases the essential ingredients of dry herbs. Right? So it's not Bobby Flay smoking dry herbs. Right? It's the kids who are smoking the marijuana herbs. So when they do it, it comes with the compartment, all this little stuff, and you can YouTube on how to turn your marijuana herbs into something smokable, into an e-cig. The argument that we always get when we talk to kids, and even when we talk to law enforcement, is does it smell? It gives a very faint smell of marijuana. What you can do with the e-cigarette is you can take it apart, you can put a dryer sheet in it, so when you puff it out, it's going to smell like game. Right? I have a 3-year-old who's addicted to monster trucks, so we went to Anaheim to the Monster Truck Festival. And there was a group of kids in front of us, and they were smoking these e-cigarettes, and they were passing it around, and it was smelling like marijuana. But it wasn't overpowering like normal smell, but you could smell the faint smell of like something's in the air, and they were smoking it off this stuff. Other types of vaporizers, right? The asthma inhaler, which is my personal favorite. The iPhone connector, a regular vape one, the water bottle one, and then your normal one you can find anywhere. So they're coming in different ways and different methods. Mainstream marijuana. Working with law enforcement, working with SROs, working with parents, right? I met a parent who was like, my kid only had an ounce of weed, it's not a lot. And I go, you know how much an ounce of weed is? It's 39 bottle caps, right? There's no way your kid is just smoking this after class one day. Because he's like, oh, he had a bad day at work, or bad day at school. That is an ounce, 39 bottle caps, right? You have an eighth and everything. I'm not here to cut in the conversation of medical, recreational use. Each person's got their own thing. What I do want to focus on is how they smoke, right? Normal pipe, the fruits, oranges, apples, mangoes, watermelon, regular melons, and then a regular pipe. I have the equipment up here to turn a orange into a smokable one. What we've seen in states that have allowed medical marijuana is an increase in hospital visits. But the hospital visit increase that's occurred the most, of over 1,000%, is 0 to 5. So why? Because people who get marijuana go get edibles, and to my 3-year-old, this looks like regular candy, right? So all of us with kids know they come to that stage where everything they find on the ground they're eating, right? They walk around, it looks, if it comes in colors, the kids are eating it. So in Colorado and Washington, it's 1,000% increase of kids going to the hospital for marijuana problems, from 0 to 5. And that's across the board the highest out of everyone. Because they just see the edible stuff and they're eating it. So you get names like Pop-Tarts, the Nutella, Stony Ranchers, the popcorn, all this stuff is infused with THC. And so people are eating it, the kids are eating it. Marijuana concentrates. So this is the other good thing. Regular THC levels, right? THC is what gets you high, right? So regular, when you smoke it out of a joint, you get 28% of the THC level. When you smoke it out of a bomb, 78% THC levels. When you turn it into this, you get 92 to 98% THC levels. And this is the THC levels of whatever is already part of the marijuana.
What is the bottom?
So
What's the 92.8?
we'll get to this one, right? Now I got your interest because it's 92. So this is 92 to 90% of THC. This is the good stuff. This is what you want to smoke. This is what gets you high. And what it's called is dabs, waxes, butter, oil, and what it is you cook the marijuana plant, the weed, you cook it, you can put it over ice, you can put it over propane, you can put it in a rice cooker I've seen. And what this is pure THC. And it comes out like this. And it's called waxes and honeys and dab oil, and it's very sticky. And then they can smoke it out of an e-cigarette, or they have other methods of doing it. Everyone with me so far? So this is just marijuana, this is pure THC. So then how do you smoke it? You smoke it out of a torch, because you need a high concentrated flame. So, when they're smoking it, you need to grab now, like I said, I'll end early so you can come up here. We have a lot of interesting stuff that you can see. We used to pass this out, but another provider was passing it out and people stole it. Hopefully for just educational purposes. So now, if I had more of my staff here, I would have gladly passed it out. So you put the honey oil in here, you put the wax material here in the nail, and then you need something hot, because it's waxy, right? thick, it's sticky. So you need a heating source. So they just put this over it the whole time. Right? And then my personal favorite is we found these bouncy balls all of a sudden. Right? Smoke shops again. Found these bouncy balls. And then, first off, we were like, they suck, they don't even bounce. So they went our afternoon party. But then you open them up, you can hide stuff in it. And then some silicone. When I turn my marijuana into my wax and oil, I can take it out with this, right? We all know what this is, right? Dental tools, right? I always tell parents, unless your kid's an actual dentist, you should not have this. Right? Very simple. We found these at smoke shops too. And we're like, why? Like for tobacco? Smoking something, you got to clean out your teeth? No. This is for this. So they carry it around, pure concentrate, take it out, put it in the nail with a pipe, and then they just burn it and smoke it. So this is the nail. This is where you put the handling oil, the wax, put it in there, and you cook it. Dabbers, right? The dentist equipment, what you need to take them out. It's really hot. So this is what he's doing. Getting it hot. There's the honey, wax. Now he's smoking it. So in order to make it, A, lot of research, but B, you have to get it hot enough to suck all the THC levels. Right? I love Jamaica. It's my cocaine, it's Jamaica. It's not bad. It's red juice, comes from a flower. My mom cooks it, right? Sucks everything out, drink it, put a little bit of sugar, it's delicious. Right? Similar process. You get the marijuana, you cook it, and you suck out all the liquid, which is the THC. But you need to get it really hot in order to suck it all out. So what some kids were doing was they go, how can we get something really hot? Right? So they were putting butane to get it hot. So for all those science majors, what happens when you put butane over an open flame? This happens. Explosions. Right? So all of a sudden we saw rising explosions. In the East Coast, in the Midwest, in the West Coast, in Musqueam, there was an explosion. Hoops Valley, there was an explosion. And automatically everyone's like, oh, it's a meth explosion. But once they got there, they're like, I had a lot of marijuana. So you get the marijuana, you cook it over butane, put it over fire, and then you extract it. So then a lot of explosions were happening. That's when in Colorado, the hash oil. This video, they're doing a remodeling, redoing everything now because of an explosion. People are getting burned, and people are losing their fingers. Right? So all this happens from marijuana. I like this picture. When I was young, I remember airplanes had a place where you could smoke, right? And then you could go, and there were places you could buy cigarettes from. Right? I used to buy it from my grandpa. He would send me to the store, and then I would buy it. Well, now looking back as a 34-year-old, I'm like, that was really illegal. You would go buy it, right? So now this is what they're doing also in Colorado, is they're having marijuana that you can go buy at a simple check-in, like Redbox, right? But then the geniuses behind it were like, oh no, we're just asked to have an ID machine there, so we'll have an ID reader, right? So Melinda, she was 19, she could just get my ID and go in there. So the ID is right, it is my ID, I am 34. Unfortunately, the one that's going to use it is not. So I went through that really quick, right? Are there any questions from what we just presented? All right, so now comes the show and tell part. So when I said earlier, when we go to smoke shops, we do presentations. We find stuff like this. Highlighter, right? Normal highlighter, right? Wonderful pipe in the back. Right? And then at the end, we come up here and touch it, and you can't tell right away that it's a little bit heavier, right? But if I put this in my other highlighter collection, you're not going to know the difference. I don't know what this is called. You know what it's called? It's like a fancy trend. You can tell. Yeah. Open it up, wear it across your wrist, turns into a wonderful pipe. Put the marijuana, I'm ready to go. Wear it around the wrist. The watch, normal watch, it was working until we wet it. You can open it. I can keep anything I want in here. I can stash whatever I want. Lipstick, looks like lipsticks. If my wife had it, I would have known the difference. Open it up, turns into a pipe. Go back to the baby, I'm losing you guys. Go back to the baby, all right? The shirt is my personal favorite. One of my staff, his grandma got him the shirt for Christmas, I believe. And then he's like, hey, something's up with the shirt, so he brought it in. And in the right hand is a little stash pocket.
Wow.
Right, so roll it up, wouldn't know the difference. Pipe cleaners. Right, pipe cleaners. People go, oh, it's for my kitchen project. What are little pipe cleaners used for? Cleaning your pipes. Right, so if your kid has a pipe, doing something wrong. The brush. Looks like a brush, feels like a brush, works like a brush. Has a mirror in the back, so after you brush your hair, you can see how beautiful your hair looks. Take it out. You can put whatever I want in here. Who knows what this is? CO2 cartridge, right? We bought 10 of these for $15 at a smoke shop. Right? Grab a little hammer, a little nail, pop it up, inhale it. Have a good time. They've sold them, people use them for like fancy whipped cream makers to get it out. We were doing a presentation at Colton, and one of the guys was like, we were finding an increase of those on campus. Because it's so easy, I can keep it in my hand. Who has a pen? What's a pen cap? One of the old school ones. There we go. I'll get back to you. We were doing presentations and we saw an increase of these little pen caps on the floor, right? And then when we saw them, we saw they had the metal part of the pencil. So what you can do is you take the middle part of the pencil, put it here, put my marijuana there, and I have a one-time little pipe that I can smoke. So just the tip of the pencil with the pen cap. And for these going, oh, it doesn't, it works. SROs, law enforcement tell us that they've seen that a lot, because it turns really quick into a one-time pipe. I'll end with this one. So this company is called Seedless, right? They've been around for 8-10 years maybe. In that time they've gone through 5-6 different logos. What this company is famous for is every single clothing that they have. They make beanies, they make shirts, they make shoes, they make hats, has stash pockets. This one is on the inside. You can put whatever you want in.
What's the brand?
Seedless. Seedless. And that's their logo. I'm not sure if they're still using it.
So it looks like
It looks like a little, like, yeah. So, Melinda's brand new to my team, and this is the first time she's ever done a presentation.
Oh, thank you. So for a lot of skaters, there's actually this shoe, which I thought was, I don't know, Will threw this to me one time and he was like, oh, here, you can have a shoe. And I was like, great, this is awesome, you know. I was like, check it out. You just take this out, it's in a stash can. And so you can wear this, take it out wherever you go. Usually when you go to concerts or anything like that, they usually tell you to take off your shoe and they kind of want to see what's going on underneath there. They never actually check the shoe, so. This is the seedless too? No, this is a DVS brand. And we have this flip-flop, great for summer. I believe this is a flop? No. Put your ID, credit cards in there.
It's got a little compartment, perfect for enjoying.
So you never know what you'll find. It's very interesting. I've done a couple of assessments throughout the county, and we're always finding new items, new products, new clothing wear. And there's actually one that I just recently found on Instagram actually, and it's more of the higher end designer bags. It's called Anubis, and the purpose of their bags is to hide and not to hide marijuana, and to also how do I say it?
To hide the smell.
The smell,
and
yes.
to stash your marijuana being well.
It's very interesting, but those bags go for about $200.
Little battery, looks like a battery. Looks like a D battery. The top part's a grinder. Put my marijuana butt in here, grind it up, and in the back it's got the little compartment so you can keep it. The story that Melinda said earlier about the teacher was true. We had to talk to the teacher. This young girl kept coming in with whipped cream, and the teacher was like, she doesn't put it at lunch, she's doing it like this. So that way she was just getting the pure citrus.
Buy marijuana the same way you buy a candy bar in Seattle at a vending machine. The Zaz marijuana machine opened this morning. The company that makes it says the vending machine is the first age-verifying machine, climate-controlled and self-service dispensary. The machine's creator gave us a little demonstration.
So in that he had the marijuana or the THC comes in drinks, comes in lollipops. We have lollipops up there somewhere. Comes in pills, comes in any form. Right? So now back to the baby. Right? All this stuff is illegal for the most part. I did a presentation in Riverside, and I gave the presentation, and the cops were in there, and they were like asking me questions and telling me about trainings. And then they stopped me, and they're like, I think all this stuff is illegal, so we have to talk to our chief about whether or not we can let you go. Which I was like, oh, thanks, I guess. But they let me go, right? I have letters from the local chiefs in the West End and the Little Desert saying it's fine for me to carry this stuff around, it's for educational purposes only, which it is. So all this stuff is illegal. When we first started doing this, a lot of the businesses had no idea what they were selling. Someone just came to them selling, hey, sell this stuff, it's synthetic marijuana, it's legal, and they were doing it. After we started doing enforcement and operations, they weren't selling it. When I first started doing it, 9 out of every 10 places had it. Right, and I'm not talking about like the CD smoke shop, but like we found some at Albertsons and 7-Eleven, some of the bigger box stores. Now it's very difficult for us to find it, and even when we do find it, we tell them, we let them know, we let law enforcement know, they get rid of it really quick.
Like what?
The synthetic stuff. The common question that we always get is, well, why does Pepsi allow this to happen, right? They don't know what's happening. It's a simple, short answer. People always go, well, get them for copyright infringement. If I had that much power, I probably would not be here at this moment. But they don't know, right? The stash stuff, they sell it for adults, right? But how many here knew that you can get all this stuff at a smoke shop, right? No. If you go to a smoke shop, walk in, look around, all that stuff is tailored for kids, right? The synthetic drugs, right? I grew up loving Scooby-Doo, and now I can't look at them the same way because he's all over these drugs, right? The packaging, the color, all that stuff, right? I, as an adult, know this stuff is bad. I know not to trust it. My 3-year-old or my cousins have no idea, right? The great part that I said about synthetic drugs is federally, there's 20 different chemicals that are outlawed. What some of these do, I think this white one does, this one actually says, all these chemicals that are outlawed are not in this container, right? So this is legal. So for law enforcement, it's very difficult to test what is actually in there. I think the only testing that they have is a little machine, laser, you can test it. I think it's $12,000, which is a lot of money for a law enforcement agency. That's just to have one of them, right? So to outfit every single law enforcement with this is very expensive. In the city of Rancho, they do have an ordinance. In Fontana, Rialto, Bloomington, and these stuff. So a lot of cities do have different ordinances that it is out there. It is illegal. The alcohol stuff, they will try anything at least once to do it, right? I did a presentation, and at the end the mom goes, so what do boys do about alcohol? I'm like, oh, they do blood check, they do slimming, it's all part of it, right? YouTube is your best friend. YouTube your stuff, YouTube alcohol, YouTube synthetic drugs. These kids will videotape themselves doing anything and putting it out there. One young lady did synthetic drugs, recorded, she's drooling, and for some weird reason, she just still put it out there. So there are policies against this. There are enforcement operations that are out there. It's just ever changing, right? Do you have any questions for me or for Melinda?
What about hookah bars? Is that, is that actually tobacco?
It's tobacco, yeah.
Or do they sell?
No. They could, I mean, we're not out there, but for the most part, no.
Isn't that, that's for 18 or
18, some of them are being zoned differently, so they're not allowed out of the patios.
Can you repeat what she's asking? Because
She asked about hookah bars. So they're just like regular bars and stuff like that. Some of them are zoned differently. Some of them you can't smoke outside. Some of them you still need to age inside. Sometimes you do need to check IDs. Whether or not they do it all the time, I wouldn't know. Yes?
I feel like with tobacco, there are those warning labels on, on packages of cigarettes and, that it causes cancer. So like Colorado, where they're selling marijuana in these vending machines, how is it given to them? Is there any type of label on it? Is it just packaged?
We've gone to dispensaries and they don't, I mean, it just tells you what's in it. So there's no, some of this, like in, there was a law that they wanted to do to put, like in Europe, how the smoking, the cigarettes have like those ads or the pictures of like people's lungs. So they've been trying to do something like that, but it's just regular. There have been an increase in people under 18 that have medical marijuana cards, and that you need your parents' permission. I've done presentations where the parents are like, oh, thank God my kid doesn't do this, he just smokes marijuana. And it's like, we need to talk. So it's just the misconception that's out there.
I just feel like there's not enough talk that it could cause cancer just as much as tobacco can, if that's correct.
Yeah, the e-cig stuff hasn't really been studied.
Right.
So people are smoking them like nothing, but there's really been no long-term studies about what's going on. Even with the synthetic drugs, no one's done any studies. They've been out 4 or 5 years, but no one really knows what's going on. Yes?
For Howard County, San Bernardino, in our area, in my desert in particular, what is the most pressing type of thing that we should kind of be aware of in our elementary and middle schools?
A little bit of everything. The synthetics do change. I have an office in the low desert, so we get stuff there before we get it here. A lot of it now is like the kratom, the salvia, the stuff that is somewhat legal, they can buy at smoke shops. I'll give you my business card. There's a coalition that works up in Victor Van Hesperia that we work with, so that you can send them their information. They would have more local data. Yes?
Do you come out to school districts and do presentations to staff? Because we live in a small desert community, people probably needles. We have 6 marijuana dispensaries and a population of 5,000.
Yes.
So our students have accessibility for the marijuana dispensaries at their fingertips. And as one student told me, a 12-year-old can go to a dispensary and get marijuana out the back door. It doesn't matter. You don't have to have a card. So do you come out and educate staff? Because it's turning our community upside down because we're not sure how to handle all of it. Our drug tests, we do random drug testing for athletes and for any extracurricular activities that they're involved in. And our marijuana positive tests have gone up to the point where the company says you have chronic users. They're at 600 levels where a 23 THC was a positive, I have like students testing in the 600s.
I do, there's other providers that work across, I work with someone that works in needles.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, so I'll give you, I'll give you my business card, just shoot me an email and I'll put your contact with you.
Okay.
So yeah, we do presentations, I've done things at churches, community centers, city officials, you let me know, you let us know. It's just, the only thing we do ask is audience, because if there's kids, our presentation is much different because we don't want to tell them where to get this stuff. A lot of the stuff we don't present to them because we don't want to show them how to do it.
No, I just see first.
Yeah, but I'll send you. Any other questions? Yes.
So you're saying that these smoke shops, some of them are zoned to a convenience store. Well, there's like a liquor/convenience store across the street from our school. So because it's already zoned to be a convenience store/liquor store, will it be selling some of these concealing?
Yes. It's just there's a, and a lot of times they are responsive if you go and talk to them.
Is it behind the counter, or is it just like right there?
You have to ask for it. Sometimes it is right there depending on the situation. I went to a smoke shop in Yucca and they had all this stuff outside. And they were asking like, hey, do you want a relaxation band? I was like, I'm good. So some of them are very blunt about it. Other ones you do have to go and ask. And you can't say, I want some bath salts because they're going to know that you are someone that isn't normally asking. But if you ask for law enforcement, yeah. And a lot of those providers that do this, we do local assessments a lot of time. So if you do have one, let law enforcement know. They'll let you know right away that you have a problem. Any other questions? So we did end early just so you can come up here and look at the stuff. The synthetic drugs are covered up, so they won't bring your hands, and no one's going to get, if you go get drug tested tonight, you're not going to get in trouble. So if you need anything from me, I have business cards. Melinda has business cards, and thank you very much. They just recently, in the last month, actually started a marijuana department.
Yeah. And so we'll look at that, and if you just held it like this.